I'm Charlaine Harris. I wrote the Sookie Stackhouse novels. Now that I'm about to end the series, I've been thinking about the origin of the novels and how I developed Sookie's story. Today I'm going to read from the second book in the series, Living Dead in Dallas. "Can you wait for me?" I asked the cab driver. He was a man in his 60s, grizzled and missing a front tooth. He wore a plaid shirt with snaps instead of buttons. "I reckon I can do that," he said. He pulled a Louis L'Amour Western out from under his seat and switched on a dome right to read. Under the glare of the sodium lights, the parking lot showed no visible traces of the events of the night before. There were only a couple of vehicles remaining, and I figured they'd been abandoned. One of the cars was probably Gabe's. I wondered if Gabe had had a family. I hoped not. For one thing, he was such a sadist he would have made their lives miserable. And for another, for the rest of their lives they'd have to wonder how and why he died. Out of the dark shadows next to the church, a figure emerged. Godfrey. He was still bare-chested, and he still looked like a fresh-faced 16. Only the alien character of his tattoos and his eyes gave the lie to his body. "I came to watch," I said when he was close to me, though maybe bear witness would have been more accurate. "Why?" he asked. "I owe it to you." "I'm an evil creature," he said. "Yes, you are. There just wasn't any getting around that. But you did a good thing, saving me from Gabe. By killing one more man, my conscience hardly knew the difference. There have been so many." His voice grabbed at my heart. The growing light in the sky was still so faint that the parking lot security lights remained on. By their glow, I examined the young face. All of a sudden, absurdly, I began to cry. "That's nice," Godfrey said. His voice was already remote. Someone to cry for me at the end. I had hardly expected that. He stepped back to a safe distance, and then the sun rose. When I wrote Living Dead in Dallas, I was thinking it would be interesting to take Sookie out of her familiar home environment of Bonton and take her to a big city to deal with some very unusual situations and to meet a sort of vampire she had never met before, the organized kind of vampire who live in nests and have a strict hierarchical regimen. And Living Dead in Dallas was also our first exposure to fanaticism in meeting the Fellowship of the Sun. So Sookie makes a lot of new connections and has a lot of adventures in the second book.